Good morning everybody, and this is your Forex day trade setups for today. So as usual, starting off with Euro USD, and I'm just starting off on the weekly because there are a few things that I need to point out so that we are all on the same page. And I think the first thing is have a look at the weekly oscillators. We've got a crossover on the one and we're busy with the second crossover. So yeah, typically it looks like it's turned. It looks like we are in some form of a pullback in a bull trend. So you can see the moving averages trend is up, and we've come back to test breaks, and also we have some diversions at the moment on the weekly. So low, higher low, low, lower low. So all things considered at the moment, this is looking like this was a pullback in a bigger bull trend, and we have now come to an area of support. And the next step would be to build a base and start moving up. So when we come down to the 8 hour, just having a look at the 8 hour charts now, and you can see we are at an area of resistance. Oscillators are grouped to the upside, so I would expect either sideways motion or a little bit of a pullback. A bit of a pullback would be nice. And I'm just going to use this level here. So I'm going to make it a fairly wide pullback, but something into the area of 119.226, pull back into there, and then another move up. This is also setting up to be a channel of sorts. If I just put that onto there and do that. It all depends what happens with this 8 hour bar at the moment, but it is a pullback onto the 155 EMA as well, in some form of a channel, not really that clear, but into a channel. So what I'm looking for is, there's the shoulder, there's the head, looking for another bit of a pullback, preferably deeper down, 119.226, and that would give us the opportunity to buy into this. So for now, as far as I'm concerned, this is still in a range. Okay, yes, we've broken through the bottom of the range, what looks like a break, but have a look at the moving averages. Moving averages are still pointing up, haven't had a crossover indicating a deeper pullback is on the cards, and at the same time have a look at my oscillators starting to group into an area. So as far as I'm concerned, looking for opportunities, looking for an area to buy into. If it's not here with this inside bar, then I'd like to see a second pattern, so let it bounce around, come back, form a solid double bottom. That's going to give us the opportunity to the top of the range. Obviously we still need to break above this range for this trend to continue. So that's 119.932. At the moment I'm sit on hands, because I think even if it does drop down here, you'll probably find some support further down at 119.226. So, but it is poised at the moment, and as far as I'm concerned, it is poised for a continuation until that picture changes. I think I'm looking for longs on that. The second one is USD Japanese yen, and this is just starting to back up the Euro USD, because obviously if you're looking for a weaker dollar, this should be falling as well. Now, first things first, we are in this pretty strong downward channel. We are at an area of support, and if we come to the weekly on this as well, you'll notice a few things. So firstly, we have a grouping of oscillators to the upside and a crossover. Okay, it does look like pretty big area of resistance here at 1115.11. Wouldn't quite get there, but we're in the zone, and we've pulled back. Moving averages haven't quite crossed over yet, but still we are above them, which is always a little bit confusing. And the trend is not really up or down, it is sideways. So what are we saying? We are top of range on the weekly, and we're looking for a move to the bottom of the range, and this needs to ease off. So coming back to the 8 hour, what I'm assuming is going to happen is we're probably going to try and build a base here, and then we're looking to drop below 108.608. Once we drop below, come back and retest it, then you're going to have support over here again at 107.963. And if we get through that level, then can we expect a bit of a smooth sailing to the downside? So with all of that in mind, what are we looking for today? First things first, lots of tails on Friday. You can see tails to the upside, tails to the downside, nothing really happening, and we're coming down to find some support at the bottom. So I suspect we are probably going to continue moving sideways or to the downside. But you can see there's top of range at 109. 109 dead, and bottom of range is here at 108,623. So we are just bottom of range. Look at the pin bar off the bottom of the range. I suspect we probably come and close this gap to start with. So for me, this is sit on hands until one of these two big levels go. And until then, if you are going to trade this, you're probably looking to trade the range. So long off the bottom, look for the gap, and then you're looking for opportunities to sell higher up and buy the gap. Just above the gap, you can see it's almost in the middle of the range. That would be a fairly good area. 108,808 would be a good area to look for some quick scalps to the downside and taking profit right here at bottom of range at 108,608. Okay, so that's still sideways as far as I'm concerned. British pound, Japanese yen. A couple of things on the go here. So this trend is clearly to the upside. Look at the crossover I've got on my moving averages, at my oscillators at the moment, and they're pointing up. Looks like we have found some pretty good support down here at 149,834. Only concern I have is this moving average crossover here. So that to me is indicating that we're probably going to range today, and it is Monday, so that's typical for a Monday. And if we come to the hour, you'll see we've got basically a golden cross here, so it's a bullish cross, but we are rejecting the 155. Now, it gapped down this morning. Lots of chaos in the markets over the weekend. Even Bitcoin had a bit of a flash crash as well. So I'm expecting sort of more sideways motion on this at the moment. So you can see on the hour how clear this is. We are forming lower lows. I see low, lower low there. But if you look at the oscillators, call it a double bottom, or it's ever so slightly higher. So that is diversions. We did rally a bit. So this, to me, is just a pullback inside the bigger range. So we just kind of at the middle of the range. So this kind of sit on hands for me as well. But yeah, I expect this gap to close. I don't think I want to be selling off the top of this range, though. This is really starting to look like a trend reversal to me. And this is the trend. We've had a 1 week long trend. But the bigger trend is to the upside. And then we've got all this big up, big down, big confusion. So I still want to be trading with the bigger trend, which is the upside. So if you come back down to the hour and you look at where we are at the moment, it does look like this downward trend that we've had the last last 2 weeks, it does look like that's changing. So I'm looking for opportunities to buy, but I think the best way to do this, we close the gap, come back, find support here at 153.48, and then look for opportunities to buy into it with a stop below the low of today. So that's a British pound, Japanese yen. Last pair for this morning is euro, British pound, and kind of a similar situation. We've been in this long-term downtrend for quite some time, and if you look at the weekly, nothing really giving you warm and fuzzy feeling on the weekly. This is all sideways. It's been sideways for a number of years. So at the moment, the critical thing is that we have broken below the swing low here on the weekly, and that is 0.86961, and we've had an inside bar off that level. So that indicates continuation to the downside. Now, if we come to the 8 hour and have a look at what's transpiring here, a little bit of a different picture, isn't it? Because we are now below the 150 moving average, and we are also coming up to test the 33 and the 66 right now. So I'm in two minds whether this is going to be a continuation to the downside. So in other words, this downtrend that we've had for the last couple of weeks continues to the downside, or do we have a potential for a breakout here and we're busy with another retest? So we did try here, and this area is 0.86461. So that is the first thing to bear in mind. It's a little bit of a confusing setup that we have at the moment. If we now switch to the hour, we have a death cross and we have a break of the 155 and a retest of the 155. What I don't like is the grouping of the oscillators at the moment. So we kind of still sit very wary with this. I think for me, this is also still stuck in a range. We are bottom of range at the moment. And it's kind of a 50-50 call. If you look at the weekly, it is indicating that we should be looking for a stronger move to the downside. But if you break the weekly, well, not break the weekly, but if you look at the context of the weekly, so Friday, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so the whole of last week was a sideways week, but critically we did break above here, which looked like the top of the range, break up, fake out, immediately back down to the bottom of the range. So this, to me, as far as I'm concerned, this here is bottom of range. So it's really just pushed down to bottom of the range. It hasn't broken anything. So what's the next logical direction? Back to top of the range. So watch these moving averages here, because if we do come back up and kind of reject this area here, which is the most logical breakout for me, that 086693, then I would be expecting another move to the downside and probably come and test this level. But if 086400 breaks and we have a retest there, then I think what we see on the weekly is more than likely going to play out, and then you're looking for a retest all the way down here at 085436. Okay, so a little bit of a Monday confusion this morning, so we just need to wait for everybody to get the weekend out of their system and get the directions they need to trade in, and then we can jump on those trades accordingly. At the moment, my advice on Forex is sit back, relax, and just wait for the setups to come up. They are brewing, but I think look for them on the hour. Don't try get on the 50-minute just yet. The hour is filled with lots of signals, and there are going to be a few traps as well, because it is sort of it's pivoting at the moment in either direction for most of the currency pairs that I'm looking at right now. Anyway, that's it for me this morning. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you later. Cheers for now.